Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we get into the October tarot card readings, I wanted to make a super small announcement. I'm doing a test launch on a new little website that I'm putting together where there's only just going to be a couple of products on there for right now. Just a place for me to share some of my favorite things. So for right now, I'm introducing my ritual boxes, or as I'm calling them, my spell boxes. These are going to be dedicated to manifesting or healing love, like romantic love energy, or for attracting good fortune into your life. Each box is going to include a beautiful white marble smudge bowl with spell matches, a hand-mixed herbal smudge, sea salt and herbal bath, crystals, a candle, handcrafted anointing oil that I poured during the waxing moon, as well as a detailed instruction booklet, which I'm currently writing, which is why I'm not going to be shipping out until late next month. This will also come with a 3-card tarot reading that I'll be writing out and including in your box as well. These are available for pre-order only, and as this is just a soft launch, things won't be shipping out until the end of October, early November, and only within the United States until I figure out how shipping works, because I have no idea. So the link will be down in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and check it out. For now, let's move into the reading. Thank you. Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your October 2019 tarot card reading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jane. Hi, thanks for coming. Thanks for checking it out. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm changing it up a little bit, doing something a little different. I'm going to be starting the reading with focusing very specifically on your energy only, Sagittarius. And if you're cross-watching for a Sagittarius, this is going to represent the person you're dealing with, okay? And what I've done is I've isolated the 16 court cards from a tarot deck, okay? This is my giant Rider-Waite, these huge cards here. And every page, knight, queen, and king is here in this pile. And this is going to represent you and what kind of energy you are bringing to the table this month. This deck is really hard for me to shuffle because the cards are so big. But okay, let's go ahead and take this one. Okay, Page of Coins. So why do we like this energy so much? We like this energy because it's very service oriented and it's very curious. Now, with all the 11th house activity for you guys taking place in Libra, there's this feeling of like wanting to break free, like true liberation from anything that is making you feel claustrophobic. But there's also caution with the Page of Coins too. He's not going to haphazardly hurt someone's feelings. He's not going to just, pull the trigger without thinking things through. And yet there is still a question of, I know there's a way. Please show me the way, right? Universe, please show me the way. Show me the path. Show me the avenue by which I will attain this freedom of some kind. And we know freedom is a big deal for Sagittarius, And it could be something simple. It could be freedom from some project at school, or free from, kind of a needy friend or something. So some of you could be more serious. I want freedom from my job. I want to completely change my career. I'm so tired of this relationship. So I think that energy is going to be compounded greatly. You specifically, because of the Capricorn-Pluto-Saturn conjunction, all right, taking place in your second house, you're experiencing earthquakes, right? And I think there's going to be, if there hasn't already been so far in 2019, that there's still a good potential, like 5 or 6, 7 months ahead of you, where there could be something truly groundbreaking for you. And this could be some of the first steps, okay? So whatever little breadcrumbs the universe is leaving for you, I see you following that path with enthusiasm, with grace and kindness, but yet also caution as well. I don't see Sagittarius leaving all of this chaos behind them. It's not like there's this bomb going off back there and they're just running for the hills. No, it's more like I need change. I need novelty in my life in some way, shape, or form. And I don't want to do it in a self-destructive way. So there's a questioning coming through, questioning what's possible and what's doable, okay? So The next pile is all the 22 major arcana cards, all right? And this is going to represent your environment. It can represent a specific person. Okay, one just fell out. What is it? The Tower. Okay, well, I just talked about earthquake moments. Well, yeah, here it is. So you could be dealing with a Scorpio. I often see this being very Aries-like as well. It could be an Aquarius you're dealing with too. Because this is the essence of the liberation of the 11th house, okay? The revolution of the 11th house. So there's changes. Your life is changing. How interestingly, actually, let's put them in the right direction here. What an interesting contrast, and yet still connected, I feel, with the yellow, right? The yellow being the chakra of courage, chakra of self-confidence and of honesty and of the true authentic self. You're aligning, we all are, slowly but surely, we're aligning more and more toward our authentic self. And you know, I think this next 5, 6, 7, 8 months ahead of you, whatever this tower is going to represent, it's so critical, because 2020 is going to be all about creating new foundations for ourselves, okay? So you have to make the changes. You have to tear down the old before you can lay the foundation for the new things. So this is important, right? It is. The Tower is very important. There could be other people around you going a little haywire as well, getting extraordinarily emotional. I'm feeling with the Tower. I'm feeling people, you know, snapping and reacting really, really fast, saying things that we all know they're going to regret later. And there's an essence of regret for sure with the Tower. Some of you will regret if you don't allow the Tower to happen, and others of you won't regret, or others of you will regret. Or you may be dealing with people with regret is what I'm really hearing. I don't think that's Sagittarius, not with the Page of Coins. So watch your tongue, okay? Watch your tongue. Watch what you say. That's going to be a big thing for you guys. All right, now let's get ahead into the traditional 9 cards that I always do. And let's see what comes through. Okay, 2 cards coming out, 2 reversals. The 4 of Coins and the 7 of Swords reversed. See, this is so indicative of the second house activity. I always see this as a very Taurus-like stubbornness, you know, like really steadfast. So when it gets reversed, it's like such a whole thing to let this thing go. It's such a an event in your life to release that, and that's coming with the aid of the Tower, okay? So you are releasing yourself from any kind of burdens. You are freeing yourself up. You are creating space. On a negative side, some of you may be experiencing the clinging that comes sometimes with like the process of loss. And this seems to be a process of loss, but in a really, really, really healthy way. I think we all know that loss is as much beneficial as gain, you know, a lot of times. So the clinging is very unhealthy in this point in time. And please do not misconstrue obstacles as being something that you need to overcome. Rather, things you need to veer away from at this time, okay? This is more about fluidity and moving smoothly and without obstacle, rather, okay? This is clearing the path. So if the path is clear for you, then why are you still trying to climb over the boulders? You know what I mean? It's not about that this month. And there could have been a deception, Tower. Yes, sure, absolutely. Someone that lied to you, someone that said something really nasty to you, backstabbing behavior, cheating, whatever. Possible, yes, although it might not speak to all of you. And yet you seem to be completely unengaged with that particular thing. This is a trigger, I'm feeling. The 7 of Swords is the trigger to the curiosity, right? This is like, okay, clearly, you know, this isn't for me. So what is for me? Right? What is for me? What is it that is? What changes do I really need to make in order to find that fulfillment, or to be fulfilled in a way that we know we can just kind of turn it on, but sometimes it can be hard to like really get to that place of feeling. Page of Coins, absolutely about gratitude as well. Let's not forget that, okay? So if there has been something negative that has happened in your life, it is, bar none, probably the best thing that ever happened to you, which you might not perceive it that way right now, but you will. And the itchiness of freedom, I think, is indicative of the intuitive knowing that something isn't right. Okay, so I like the Four of Coins reversed for you. I do. Being a mutable energy, we all know that you guys are fully capable of like changing on a dime. So this is not an uncomfortable thing for you at all. This is not something that is shocking or surprising. It's just more matter of fact, and it's just more like a very clear sign that, okay, it's time for me to seek something more practical for me in my life right now. I think there are going to be a lot of expectations of others being projected onto you at this point in time, and yet you seem to be quite isolated, you know, running around kind of on your own, doing your own little thing, being in your own way without feeling the need or desire to really answer to anybody. So that's a really good thing as well. What else for Sagittarius? What else? Okay, Eight of Wands, and here's the path. It's almost as though as soon as that Seven of Swords things happen, and it might happen in the early stages of Libra season, okay, so in the next couple upcoming weeks, boom, happens, and then you're swiftly on the course. There could absolutely be travel for some of you. There could be some last minute things that you're needing to attend to. This could represent a lot of communication, a lot of truthful communication. And we do love this card for a Sagittarius because it indicates movement. So movement, change, transition, yes to all of those things. I think there's an energy of inviting in information as well, meaning you don't have a lot of blockages or barriers in spite of, a lot of people close up after this. You know, they close up, they protect, they go into some kind of a hiding mode, but not with an Eight of Wands energy. In fact, I think the Tower is something you're quite excited about. Sometimes we have something in our life that we know needs to go, and yet we have a hard time making that decision. So when the universe makes the decision for us, we can feel that sense of relief, you know, like maybe you have that toxic romantic relationship and all of a sudden you find out that partner has been cheating on you, and instead of feeling angry at your truest level, you're like, oh God, thank God, like now I have a real reason to leave, you know, kind of thing. So it could be something like that. The Eight of Wands is career movement as well. You could be working really hard at the office, although with the Four of Coins reversed, I get a more relaxed feel because there might just be things up in the air that you're like, let's just kind of see, let's just throw the cards up and see which ones fall face up. Let's see which cards fall face up. I do sense drama. You know, Libra season can often be associated with drama. People get very dramatic during this time. And any of your Libra friends, you could also, like, they could kind of, by day, they're very calm, cool, and relaxed. But by night, they can get really, you know, kind of out there. So I think that the aggression of a Libra season brings out people's desire to be whole within themselves. And when there's that inkling that they're not, they then reach out to other people and try to make them balance them out, which can then in turn lead to a lot of ego clash. And especially if you're in a business or a professional setting with lots of coworkers, this can often bring out office politics and the bureaucratic nonsense and all of that. And be just really, really, really be in your own space. It's not a good idea to get involved in gossip. While we don't really usually see Sagittarius doing that, you know, stereotypically. Just be forewarned to just stay out of it, because as these major changes are occurring, you know, and while people aren't really having it, you could use it to your advantage. Your calmness, your coolness, your collectedness is actually the saving grace here. A lot of times, you know, fire energies in general, Sag, Leo, and Aries, they like to get into the brawl. You know, they like to get into it. They like to stick up for people or fight on behalf of someone. it's probably not in your best interest to do that. Make people fight their own battles. Make people go through their own hard time. It's not a good time to stand up for other people right now. If it's petty, obviously, if it's something real, then yeah, of course. But if it's petty stuff, that's not a good idea to get involved. You have to let go. You have to let go. And in a way, find this sense of pure autonomy. And it can maybe be a little bit weird, like I'm telling you to isolate yourself, and in a way I think I kind of am, but not in a loneliness kind of way, but in an energy protectedness kind of way. To isolate yourself, to ensure that your 12th house activity happens in Scorpio season, and the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, which is going to be really interesting for all of us. To ensure that you're prepared for that, right? Keep your resources for yourself. I love this card, period. Like, period, I just love this card. She's so, like, elegant and so graceful, and it goes perfectly with the Page of Coins as well. Your resources are your most important asset, your time, your energy, your love, even, yes, your money. Probably not a good time to invest with anybody right now, especially like once we hit the middle of Scorpio season. It's going to be, because Scorpio is a sign of money, so it's going to be real touch and go. Could have a really hard time, investments, projects taking hold. There could be a potential loss there as well with the 12th house activity. So honestly, it's probably better for you to just kind of like hide a little bit and stay out of pretty much everything except for your own passions, all right? You need to protect your coins. You need to protect your assets and your value. I often see a 9 of Coins person being the person that other people go to when they are in lack, right? It's kind of like that really, really, really wealthy person that gets hit up by charities all the time because they're like, oh, here's a multimillionaire. They can dedicate $50,000 or they can easily write a check for $100,000. You're the person writing the big checks, okay? So you have to be careful of how you distribute your resources. People see it. They know it. They can feel it. This is someone that has something that I'm lacking, okay? And for those of you who have really high quality circles in your life, they are going to be nothing short of supportive, although they will have their very sharp opinions for you this month as well. And because of that 7 of Swords, I feel like they could be a little jealous, actually. Sagittarius is a tricky energy in the same way that Capricorn is tricky. I think Sagittarius and Leo, Gemini, these are signs that people get jealous of because things tend to come easier because you just have a natural optimism, right? That's your whole thing. That's your Jupiter vibe. You are optimistic. You feel like you deserve stuff. You feel like it's easy to do certain things, you know, unless you have really malefic planets around there or certain planetary placements. But in general, things can come easy for you. You still work really, really hard, but things come easy for you, and therefore that instills jealousy for people who feel entitled, you know? So you got to be careful of the entitled people. Page of Wands reverse. See, you're taking on more of a coin aspect than the Page of Wands. Now, from a zodiac standpoint, this I often see as a very Sagittarian-like energy, but your 10th house is ruled by Virgo, and this is I see as a Virgo energy. So we have the midheaven, which is sort of winning over your sign, your first house, especially and specifically for Sagittarian ascendants. The Virgo, put your head down, go to work, which was triggered by just very recently Virgo season, that needs to continue, okay? The productivity, the longevity, in it for the long haul, the long game, that needs to continue. The starting off of new adventures, it's going to happen naturally. You don't have to seek it out, right? That's the whole point of the Tower. But you have to wait for the Tower to happen. And you want to make sure that you're on firm footing for when that Tower happens so that the Tower is not really that big of a deal. But if you're off kind of, gallivanting and seeking, getting distracted by all the shiny objects, it's going to be really, really easy for you to not have that foundation, which will make the tower that much more intense. So do yourself a favor, tap into the earth within you, right? We all have all the earth signs in our chart, right? It rules someplace in your chart. So the Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus aspect of you, tap into it, channel that energy, do meditations on the physical, your body, your money, your survival. Your sexuality, even for many of you, could be placed in there as well. And focus on the grounding. Do the root chakra work. Focus on the grounding. Surround yourself with earth, whether in gardens, taking your shoes off at the park, gardening. Okay. What did I do? The other card of Virgo. I often see Virgo and Sagittarius interchangeable. In the same way I see like Gemini and Pisces interchangeable. You tap into each other's energy very, very easily. And the Knight of Coins is, again, service-oriented. Your main question, okay, your main question is, how can I give back? Not in a draining, writing big fat checks kind of way, but in a more meaningful way that touches people's spirits rather than things that touch the people's pocketbooks, okay? Keep the grounding for yourself, keep the money for yourself, and contribute in a spiritual way. I think people will be floored if you showcase your true wisdom, which we all know, Sagittarius, right? It's the ruler of higher education, but I often always say it's my Dalai Lama of the zodiac, right? You guys are the Dalai Lamas, all the super high level Buddhas, gurus, all those kinds of things. And I think people will be floored by your wisdom, as long as your wisdom comes through in a caring, nurturing kind of way, in the way that you nurture your plants, okay? The way you nurture your children, the way you nurture your animals, right? If it comes through in that way, you will earn yourself extraordinarily high levels of respect this month, even if it's just with one little tidbit of advice for someone who's acting out, okay? Especially if they're acting out against you. The more mature you can be, the more that this is gonna, just kind of go away real quick, real easy. I see this card also as being slow moving. So while I have the Eight of Wands and I see a lot of fast movement, it's almost as though it's the wise person that knows how to walk slowly in a hurricane, right? How to swim against certain currents. You allow the current to take you to where it needs to go, but you also persist in your own way, constantly meeting the universe halfway, constantly meeting the universe in between, and constantly reaping the reward. Okay, so there's not a lot of effort being exerted here at all on your part. It's more so a matter of consistency. It's not a lot of effort, not a lot of trying. It's consistency. I'll be interested to see what the clarifying cards have to say about the Wands and the Page of Wands reversed and Seven of Swords especially. I do feel like there is a gnat, okay, like a satellite energy. I say a gnat, like one of those little bugs, right? It's just kind of like, or a mosquito, just kind of a nuisance energy that seems to be buzzing around you. And it is weighing you down. It's becoming problematic if it hasn't become problematic already. And you're going to feel the burden of that, because in some way, shape, or form, it's possible that you actually feel responsible for that person. You feel responsible for that person's finances or whatever it is, especially if you're in a marriage and your partner is kind of like, maybe getting a little bit lackadaisical, kind of giving up a little bit, and you're the one carrying the load. That can feel very frustrating, specifically too in the workplace or in your social circle. There could be an essence of other people expecting you to be the one to stand ahead and do the leadership stuff, which you can certainly do. You make excellent leaders, but as a mutable energy, you also want the incorporation of other people. Like, yeah, let's do it together. That way we all can, we all can succeed from it. I don't want to do it all by myself. You're feeling the weight of your own progress is what I'm feeling. You're feeling the weight of your own success, your own thriving. In a way, it's becoming burdensome. And there's something of baggage, which is why the Tower, that's probably why it needs to happen, right? Because it needs to break. And a 10 of Coins reverse. You guys, it's not about sharing. It's about you and your individual energy, okay? That's why the 9 is upright and the 10 is not upright. All right? This is the individual. This is the individual at its highest level of fulfillment. At the 10 of Coins, it begins to then expand and incorporate many others. But it's, you know, 1 through 9, which is all about you, all the development of you. The 10 of Coins is telling you don't worry about your effect on other people. That's why, again, to isolate energetically. Again, not in a lonely way. I'm not trying to tell you to be all lonely and sad or whatever. I'm just saying, you know, don't be affected by others. And especially don't be affected by what other people think of you, because those people, they are looking at you through very filtered perspectives, and it really has no reflection of the reality, okay? So there's a lot of people around you that don't really know you. Like, they don't really know you. They don't know the true essence of you. They don't know where you're really coming from. And so that's kind of something to, you know, just scale it back, right? It's 11th house, detachment stuff, okay? 11th house is all about detachment. I know that there's a political angle to the 11th house, friends, groups, and all of that. You can still be around people. Obviously, you're going to still be around people. Like, who isn't? It's the effect they have on you, though, and how much you care about what they think, all right? Let's go ahead and switch views, and we'll go ahead and finish pulling out the rest of the cards for the comprehensive. All right? Thanks. Okay, Sagittarius. So as you look at these cards, it's important to note that there's only one major arcana that came through. Okay, of all of these cards, we get one major arcana. And the major arcana is the focal point, but really there's so much more in the details of your life, right? This is all coins and wands with the exception of one, right? Every single card is about your spirit. It's like the bottom 3 chakras is what I'm feeling, right? The root, sacral, and the solar plexus chakras. Which has a lot to do with your groundedness and being in the moment, where the mental stuff, the mental activity, the mind, the thoughts, that's not the important stuff. So it's important not to get caught up in what you are thinking, right? And what other people are thinking. You're just really not going to be in a mental capacity right now. This is all from the heart, it's all from the gut, and it's all from that instinctual drive that pushes us forward, okay? So I feel like that one was trying to come out here. Okay, oh, self-love. This one came out for, I think it was either Libra or Scorpio. I can't remember which one. This is from my Threads of Fate tarot. You can't really see it with the lighting, the gold foil there. It's a picture of a peacock, okay? So self-love, yeah, this really is about you. And I know many of you have families and you have children and husbands and wives and, you know, parents and things like that. I totally get it. But sometimes you do need to prioritize yourself, because obviously if you give at a time when it's not appropriate for you to give, then you can easily be taken advantage of and you can easily be drained. You know, people need to let you take the time. And you could have been in hermit mode all year. You know, that's very likely for Sagittarius, that you could have been in hermit mode all year. And this is merely a continuation of that energy as you await these changes. Because I think there's a little bit of a lack of control with the tarot here. Excuse me, the tower, not the tarot, with the tower. So a little bit of a lack of control, meaning there are universal influences at play. This is something that the universal intelligence is carrying out on your behalf, okay? So it's more a matter of just like accepting that it's coming. Ooh, and oh my God, you guys, this is the armadillo from my Divine Animals Oracle. the armadillo, and it says groundedness right above it. So I love how these cards kind of like all jive together. And I also love the sun, actually, more than the armadillo itself. I'm more looking at the sun energy. And the sun is always that quality of brilliance. It's the quality of illuminescence, and it's the quality of the true essence of our being, which is light, okay? So light is the key. All right, now we're going to go ahead and pull the clarifiers for the comprehensive. So I'm not going to talk too much about these cards. The link for the extended video will be down below. We'll usually talk for another 20 to 25 minutes, and sometimes the story goes in different directions, so it's really interesting a lot of times. Okay, ooh, 10 of coins for the 4 of coins. What else? I think communication is going to be weird. It's going to be a lot, and it's going to be weird. And you're not going to really understand people's intentions. You're not going to know what they want. You're not going to know what they're really asking. It's not about that anyway. Ooh, another 10 of Wands. Your mind itself has become heavy. Your mind itself has become somewhat burdensome. Put your mind down. I see you trying to talk yourself out of things. And that could be due to the influence of the other people with the 5 of Wands. Yeah. I see you trying to rationalize yourself out of things. Actually, all 3 of these I feel. Ooh, Tower reversed. 2 of coins reversed. I think the urge for fast change is going to be really strong. And yet, by doing that, I'm getting a feeling like you're trying to shortchange the system, like you're trying to do a shortcut, and the system's not going to let you. I see 8 of Wands. Okay, that's going to be interesting. You're dealing with the Queen of Coins, and I don't think you're going to like their messaging or their delivery. Yeah, definitely not. And yet what they're truly giving you is gold. I think there's unsolicited advice that comes your way that's going to be tough to swallow. What was this card again? 9 of coins. Two Scorpio cards, card of Cancer. Okay, I feel like you're dealing with a watery person, another card of Scorpio. Dealing with a watery person, someone who is, they're curious and they're mirroring back to your subconscious. Sagittarian's relationship with Scorpios, it always shows them deeper levels of self. Okay, Page of Coins. I do think this reading is going to go in a couple of other, like, different directions, all right? We're officially getting all the pages now. So there's going to be some twists and turns, I think. So, okay. What did I say about people? You have a lot of people. The card of Taurus. You might be needing to let go of a Taurus energy or a really stubborn person. Let's look at the, okay, for the page. Okay, well, there's the Sagittarius card, so this is definitely you for sure. I do think the temptation to brawl is going to be quite intense. Don't beat yourself up if you get tempted to get into the middle of things. It's okay. But just so long as you're aware of it, that's the important thing. And there's the isolated stuff. There is safety in the isolation, all right? There's safety in the loss. I just want you to know that, okay? And then we have the Strength card at the very bottom. So I did pull out a lot of cards. Not quite the full deck, you know, we still have plenty left, but pulled out a lot. So this is where we're going to pick up for the comprehensive. If you want to join me, you are more than welcome. Thank you guys so much. Take care.